Hey you guys, it's your girl Dosh coming back to you from Real Takes. Today I'll be doing a TV episode review. I'm coming in the middle of this. This will be for the Black Lightning show. Really late into it. The whole point being that I was considering starting this at the beginning, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a regular recap each week. I was going to do a reaction to it, but I know as of recently, Warner Brothers has been blocking individuals on YouTube who have been doing reactions. That's kind of why I kind of was, fending it off. But I'm enjoying them so much that I feel like, you know what, I don't need to do a live reaction to the episodes. I'm just going to do a good little recap, and I'll probably just note them with some screenshots as I discuss it in more detail. Now, since we're already basically mid-season through the full season of the show, I think it's going to be 13 episodes total. I'm going to start with episode 6. We just came back from a quick break. I think like a week or 2 week break. And now we just had episode 6, 3/7's, The Book of Thunder. I'm going to start with this one and just continue on this every week and just do it all the way up until the end, up to the finale. Just again, to give you a quick little synopsis. I was introduced to this prior hearing, stories that they were going to be doing a Black Lightning show, and I knew Cress Williams would be playing the part. Now, back on January the 13th, they had a DC 2018 little setup where they had a nice, kind of like a Comic-Con, if you will, a small one where they had different ones from DC characters that came through. We had people from Gotham, from Legends of Tomorrow. We had some people from The Flash. It was nice. And we also had some of the producers. We had some comic book writers there. It was a great panel discussion. I enjoyed it immensely. I'm going to showcase some of those pictures throughout this little part of this discussion at the beginning of this. But I can say also we got to get to see a screening of the first episode, the pilot episode for Black Lightning, which was great. Asked my buddy from work to come with me because he actually reads the comics, so I kind of get a little bit of insight from him, to know what it was like. And he really enjoyed it, and we had a ball watching it. The crowd was just loving it. So from there on, I had been watching it. I loved it. We discussed it every week. I talked to him and just a couple other people on YouTube and some other people on my Twitter page. But I said, you know what, let's just from here on out go ahead and do it, because I think that it'd be something nice to add to my content on the show. I can tell I'm starting to get more and more subscribers, and I want to give you guys a little bit more. I might also start adding some other shows to the fold over time. There's another show that I watch faithfully already 6-7 seasons in, but I might start this particular season. I just started like about 2 weeks ago, just to go ahead and add it on here as well. I'll kind of parlay into that a little bit later, but I'm going to try to start adding TV shows to the mix as opposed to just reactions and just regular news. So with that said, let's just go ahead and jump into it. Now for episode 6, when he came back from his little break, if we recall, Jefferson Pierce is kind of getting sick and tired of dealing with Tobias. Well, he wants to be done with it. Now he was trying to get a hold of Toledo, who is one of his right hand individuals, to basically give him the information he needs to figure out where Tobias is. Now that he knows that he's alive, because if Toledo's alive, that means that Tobias is not far behind. Now that didn't work out very well because he ended up having little issues. Also, in regards to what Gabby was trying to explain to him, to tell him, you need to take better care of yourself. Let me fix it. Let me fix your suit. But of course, in his, anger, he was just like, no, I'm going to finish this. If you don't leave me alone, I'm going to Black Lightning your ass. That's kind of how he said it. And he kind of stepped back and had to learn the hard lesson of it. So they, of course, discussed with him. He had to bring Lynn into the fold to kind of help, what happened to him so she can understand. But you can tell Lynn is kind of tired of it. She's tired of wanting to be there, but then he keeps going back to being Black Lightning, and then these things happen where she feels that she has to come in and somewhat clean up the mess, meaning deal with his health, deal with issues, trying to fix him, whatever. It's like he can't put it aside, but as the particular episode goes on, we'll finally get to see exactly how he feels, what he feels, and how strong he feels about the situation. Now, in regards to Tobias, of course, Toledo shows up, badly injured, hurt, whatever, and you can tell he's wondering what's wrong with you. You're bleeding all over my space. He explains to him that he ran into Black Lightning. Of course, he's just like, okay, you ran into Black Lightning. You had him down. He was hurt. Why didn't you finish him? And you can tell he did not like that because, hint the picture, he's not having it. He course, with the powers, we know he has some sort of abilities, whatever. And I'm looking forward to them going in more discussion with that, being that Gabby made that comment to him, that stuff pushing through your blood and your veins and all that. You forget, did they tell you the after effects? That came up in recent episodes. So I look forward to knowing more about that as well. Now, all the while, he's like, we need to just get rid of him. I'm getting sick and tired of this. We got to just rectify the situation. But of course, he's worried about his own situation, being that he received that letter when he opened it, had all the little particles, hence the conversation he had with Lady Eve, played by Jill Scott. Now, as the story progresses in this particular episode, it just kind of shows, him working with Gabby trying to explain to him, the situation with what happened to him. Is he going to get better? Does he feel like he'll be healed? What's going on with your suit now? Am I able to do my work, without having to worry about this episode happening again? And he's trying to reassure him, but he really wants him to take it slow, but he's not interested in that. He's like, I need to find Tobias. I need to be rid of him. We need to get rid of him. He's like, don't do that. You're going to go across a particular path and go down an area you don't want to go, that you will never come back from. Granted, he has a right to feel upset, but you're teaching your children and the kids that you are a principal at your school there are better ways to do things, and he's setting that standard. But at this moment, he's kind of taking himself outside of that feeling, so he's just kind of going with his personal feelings. Forget moral compass. It is what it is. Now, speaking of moral compass, we can see that Anissa is kind of just, she's really trying to find her way. I'm enjoying her discovery of things, of what she's doing, what she stands for. Of course, she teaches and she's trying to go to school, middle school. She's trying to learn things. She goes out and she does something with a group of students, or activists, where she decides to basically, mutilate, a sort of, shrine, if you will, which we understand it's back history and background of not being a good thing. Some people will say otherwise, to each his own. And of course, with that comes, authorities. They come there, she's arrested, a couple of the students are arrested. And from there, it opens up another dialogue, another, issue where, people feel like certain things need to be taken down, and this hits close to home. That's one thing I can say about Black Lightning I actually like, is because they really get into the gulf of understanding stuff that's happening in the real world, because this is an area that happened actually, directly through the news. Certain shrines of certain history that's being taken down. Even where I live at in the DMV, this happened. It was one that was taken down in Baltimore, some other ones in other states or whatever. So I like how they try to depict part of the comic book, and then they kind of go into more realism by bringing things that are happening present day. So with that said, of course, her father shows up with her sister, Jennifer, and they're there, and, he's just like, you're not learning, you keep doing things, kind of like she's being a hothead. And she's like, no, Dad, we need to do this, whichever, and all that. And he's trying to have an understanding of, what if the cops are shot? What if it happened? You're not thinking overall, just at that moment, of what you're trying to convey, what you're trying to prove, and then you don't understand the backlash, the ripple effects of what can happen. You're just thinking in the moment, whatever, and all that, hence the hothead. And she gets some of that from him because, of course, like we said, with the situation with him and Tobias, whether or not he's not thinking sometimes very clearly, even though we understand from what we're seeing on the show, the back history. But it's just like, you can't talk to your door about this, but you're doing kind of similar to what she's doing, whichever. So moving along with the story, she ends up getting information that she's trying to take to her mother. Prior to that, Gabby decides to meet up with Lynn to have a discussion about him wanting to find a way to stop Jefferson from making a big mistake and trying to take the life of Tobias, and you can tell she's not here for it. She's like, no, I'm tired of always coming in, at the end, trying to, patch him up, whatever and all. You two want to do this? Because if you remember the first couple episodes, he's like, oh, you try to keep him away from us, you try to do this, but now you're coming to her. So it's like the hypocrisy there a little bit. It's just like, okay, now you want me to save him. He knows, he only speaks to you. He understands. But then you were saying this early on where you thought, oh, no, you were, that particular way of causing him not to act a certain way. You were his cracker. You were his this. You were this, whatever. Now you're using her to kind of stop him. Now, granted, I see his point of what he's trying to understand, but then she's like, no, I don't want any part of this at all. And you can see she's trying to resist and fight that because she truly cares about Jefferson, but she can't keep getting this because she opens herself back up to this, even when she was trying to protect herself, the girls, and even him. And it's just like she wants no part of that. So with that said, Gabby, of course, leaves or whatever. And then there's parts where you see her interacting with her own coworkers, colleagues. They're discussing with her the stuff that's happening with him, with the brain scan. Doesn't know it's him, but then she opens up another scan and puts it up, and the guy sees it because he asked her point blank, has she seen anything like this before? And she blatantly said no, but he catches her in the midst of him doing a phone call. So it makes me wonder because he rushes off, and hence makes me think, who are you reaching out to? Who are you talking to? But, just adds more layers to the show. Now, in regards to Anissa, and also in regards to the other daughter, let's kind of go into Jennifer. She's dealing with a lot as well. It's all about, seems to be Jefferson, Lynn, Gabby, Lady Eve, and everybody else. But now we have Jennifer. She's dealing with her issues. Her boyfriend got shot. He went to a rally of sorts. He was in the crossfire, got hurt, severed his spine. He can't walk. As he stated, they're having a moment where her father takes her to visit him. He stated to her it was too soon, but she wanted to go. And understandably, you want to be concerned. You don't want to think you're just not thinking about him anymore. But he's really feeling the pain of it. He's upset. And rightfully so. This boy can't walk. He was doing the right thing. He's going to school. He's staying out of trouble. He didn't get a girl pregnant. All things, honestly, you should be doing. But he's a good guy. He's a good boy. He's trying to get out there, get that, scholarship, whatever, and all that. And he's just like he said, he wants to run out of this community and do bigger things. He has bigger things for himself, bigger things he wants to do for himself, so he can, help himself and help his mother, so he can get out of the situation they are. And he feels like God let him down. It's sad. He's angry. He's lashing out at her. He's blaming her. I will say this: she's really not at fault for this, but he wants to put the one part where he feels like if he had not been there, this would not have happened. And I can see how he feels that way. He gets caught in the crossfire, so to speak, because we know that bullet was truly meant for Black Lightning. Hence the girl. And every now and then I think about that part. She's supposed to be a good shooter and all that. Why did she miss? Because it's not like it could have ricocheted, whatever, because I don't recall it ricocheting off of him, but just, just my feelings about that part still to this day. I don't understand how she missed. He was right there. But needless to say, you can tell he's angry. He doesn't want any guests. He doesn't want to be bothered. So when, she decides to leave, it's just like more added stress because she's already visited him when he was in the hospital. Now he's home, and he's just not feeling he's going to get better. They feel like there's no hope or whatever. And of course, that's when Tobias uses that to kind of hone in. His sister already told him, go speak to him, talk to him, see what you can do, to get him on your side with it all, build that anger and fester and all that, and you can get him to do some of your bidding. He'll probably do it, without him having to make him that puppet. Even though he is being used as a puppet, little does the boy know he's being, really used, and he's throwing out gifts, this, and he's going along with the show. But as he says, there's a part where Tobias says, have a talk with him in the car, and he's letting him know that we're going to help you. You're going to be able to walk again. That's when I feel like that part with that drug is going to be part of the reason he's going to be able to walk again, or they're going to help him to walk. Because if his spine is severed, he's in pain. So whatever that is, that's going to give him that jolt of energy that those kids, when Black Lightning was trying to stop that one boy from being shot by those two cops, is that strong or powerful that he would have to substantially take a lot of it to maintain, to be able to walk around where everything, he's now healed. Right there is going to be a red flag. I'm just a matter of which episodes is going to come in when they start seeing him walk around like you're miraculously healed. Are they going to have him months later, hence making a little bit of time go by, whatever, or is he going to start walking sooner than later? Also, dealing with Jennifer, she's dealing with some bullying at school, and of course she has a nice little chat with her dad. He's just kind of put things in perspective for her to let her know that this is this too shall pass. You're going to get through this. I know you're dealing with a lot, and he has to make sure he's noting that these things are going around him, even though he's all about himself and getting Tobias. He can't push it away. Side of his daughter, is feeling a certain way, and even though he doesn't know what's going on with Anissa just yet, check in with your girls. You need to be there for your girls because there's a lot going on. It's a lot that's going to start going on sooner than later with other things that we have coming up that's going to be coming down the pike. Now, going back to Anissa, they're watching something at TV, the vice principal, and she's like, somebody needs to do something about this. And she takes it upon herself to go, and she basically causes, the ripple effect where the statue is broken. You could tell at that moment when she runs away what she's done, because when she does it, she could have almost hurt other people in the process, and also in trying to prove the point of, this stuff is not good for us. This is this needs to be gone. We're sick of it and all that. So it's like she's kind of tinkering on a level of doing the right thing, or what is considered the right thing. And that's when she has that moment with her mother, because she'd already seen her mother early on to check in with her about some other things going on with some serums, some documents, whatever, and all that. Her mother trying to figure out what is she up to, and if the mother's instincts kicks in, she won't convey what's really going on, but she's doing what she needs to do so she can figure out what's going on, what happened to her grandfather, maybe even help her father understand, so they can figure out who was a part of it, so they can put him behind bars. Little does she know her father's already knows what's going on. So she ends up calling her mom after the statue has been broken in shambles, like, I need to show you better that I can actually tell you what's going on with me. So she decides to meet her mother at the lab. Now from there, that's when she gets a call from Gabby. Gabby's telling her, you need to speak to him. He's about to do some, he's not going to be able to take back later. And he will regret it, even though he feels, the satisfaction of it. And she gets on the phone. She tries to talk him down. But in the midst of that, of course, she hears a noise in her place, and that's when he stops himself. And I love that kind of triggered him to get out of that and get out of there. Because one thing I will say, he's up on the top of the roof. How they can't see them, I don't know about other people, but when I get out of a car and I'm in an area, something, I'm always looking around in my surroundings, somebody to come up behind me and try to, knock me down. But he's right up there, that's just my personal opinion. You always look around your surroundings. I just can't believe they can't see this lightning on each side, this all on a ball that he's getting ready to come at them, but anyway, so he doesn't get there before his daughter Anissa gets there, and she is, of course, still in her costume, and a mother knows her child. She comes in there full charge, and I'm gonna tell you like this, I wanted to put that reaction up of that fight scene with the two thugs, and then also just her trying to protect her mother. And of course, when Black Lightning shows up, that father-daughter scene, even though of course at that time he doesn't know who she is and she doesn't know who he is, and she's wondering why he's trying to zap her, and she's like, you're supposed to be a good guy, and then this means she has to protect herself because she's there to protect her mother, whatever. Mind you, mom has the gag on her mouth. She can't speak. She's shaking her head. They don't know what she's talking about. And it was just a great fight sequence they did with those two. Now, a lot of people are making little, comments about her and, not having a mask, whatever. She has a goal, but you really can't tell who she is because she has the makeup on, she has the wig on, whatever. Now, once her father saw her after, he kind of realized, oh my God, this is Anissa. But I will say this, and I don't know how other people feel. You can comment how you feel. I kept thinking, if she gets the upper hand on him, that ain't gonna look good. And I can already see the comment section like, no, you let this girl. I'm just saying, not to say she couldn't overpower him. She just needs to still learn how better fight in certain situations to deal with more people, because there will probably be scenes going forward in other episodes where it will be more than just one or two people, and she needs to be able to protect herself, just like her father has done in other scenes as well. Now, that scene where he got the upper hand and he took her out flat on the ground, whatever, and all that, that's all I had to say. But I will say, this is how I feel. Not once did either one of them think, and this could just be my feeling and all that, never could dawn on them. You're with your wife. This is in your DNA. This is a part of you. You consider a metahuman. You would never think that some of this could pass on to your kids. Not once, I'm just thinking out loud, whatever. I could be being a little bit too ahead of myself, even though this is a comic book, whatever and all, but you have to think DNA-wise, they could possibly. Her not even thinking that she deals with things like this all the time, that never resonated with her, not once. It just bypassed both your children, not even one of them. Come on now. So when they were having their moment in the van, she's like you. She has powers like you. And he's just looking at her. And that's when I know it's probably clicked with him, because when he's standing over his daughter and he's like, he has explained himself. There's no way around this. Your daughter has powers and she's going to use them. So it's like, you need to come clean and you're going to have to speak to her. I'm looking forward to next episode 7, to see how that discussion is. Now, granted, in the commercial, it shows like, Dad, I would love for you. She wants to be taught. She wants him to teach her. And he's going to have to now, because he knows she has powers. There's no way around this. And she's going to go out and do things. She's partly, smart little, bookhead, whatever. But then she's an activist. She's strong for the people in her community. She's going to want to test those skills. And he'd rather her be safe out there and in doing it the right way than going out there and doing it where she was just doing it and getting caught up in a situation that she couldn't protect herself, and she could have gotten herself even killed, or even her mother. So I look forward to that. Secondly, how much longer till their other daughter gets her? So basically all three of them know, but the other one doesn't know yet. So they're going to have to wait to see what happens with her, what's going to trigger it for her, because we all saw the original trailer for the show prior to the season starting, where it shows her putting her hands up. You can see similar to her sister, and then of course, what will happen. So it's just a matter of what episode that one will come. Will it be towards the season finale? Will it be in the next couple of episodes? Because like I stated, we have 13 episodes total for this season, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Also, there's a scene with Lady Eve, played by Jill Scott, and Gabby. I love how we're learning more about Gabby, because you can see, at the beginning of this episode, the picture of him with, of course, Jefferson as a young boy. I'm just curious what him being the head of them, because he said he taught her everything she knows, whatever. I'm like, and of course Tobias, even though he tries to come at Gabby, he stays in his place. So it lets me know he has that type of authority that they won't overstep. But like she stated, you better figure out how to way to deal with that part, because he told him hands off of them. So how far do you play in this? Did you know anything about the dad being murdered? Where do you fall into this? So we're going to learn more, and trust and believe once it all comes out, because it does always come out when Jefferson finds out that we don't know how much longer he's going to be on her. So I'm just curious how that's going to pan out. I'm hoping he had nothing to do with his father being killed, because that would not be good for Gabby. So, but yes, this was a great episode. I'm loving the show. Listening to the producers and the writers talking about the show, it was just so awesome. How they felt this was a show that definitely needed to be done, needed to be added to the comic book thing, and then also for CW deciding to open this up now. We're just waiting to see if it's going to be added to the rest of the CW shows, if it's going to be a part of the crossover, how they're going to do this. So it says depends on how good the show is, and more people keep supporting it and watching it, it has a good chance of being added to that, and that would be awesome, because I think they're doing very well so far. So if this whole season turns out great, like I feel like it will, then I can see the possibilities going into maybe season 2, and if not, maybe season 3. So, but with that said, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my review. Comment below, give me some of your talks, your takes. I would love to respond to some of those as well. And with that said, you guys, I will see you on the next reaction. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.